where Bill Gates now got married. At that time, it was just another beach. My crewman of the time, Ferrarese, an ex-airline pilot that flew in from Argentina to keep me company and help sail the boat around the islands. This is after the departure of Dan and Rob that had to go back to the mainland to continue with the schooling. And back to Lahaina. We covered this circuit several times, visiting all of the islands at leisure. This neighboring boat of ours sank right there at the anchorage. And we find another submarine giving their crew some R&R. We are looking at Lahaina and the sugarcane fields right behind the Pioneer Inn. It's hard to believe that Pioneer Inn was the only place where a passerby could get a room for the night only as far back as 1960. And now we are already in the island of Oahu. This is photographed from the top of Diamond Head in Honolulu. The strip that you see from now on is a boo-boo that I made as I was editing the film. This was all filmed with Super 8. And I scratched it in the editor. So now that we put it on tape, that scratch is there forever. We are looking toward Honolulu, and beyond Honolulu is Kehi Lagoon, where we spent the Kona in Oahu. This is looking now into the crater of Diamond Head and the military installations that we still have there.
Kehi Lagoon, the only safe all-weather anchorage in all of the Hawaiian Islands, situated in the island of Oahu, near Waikiki, just this side of Pearl Harbor and next to the international airport. It was blasted during World War II to provide amerizing place for the seaplanes of the air. Now it's used for cruisers from all over the world to spend the Kona season. And right there, with that little arrow is where we anchor, and we safely spend the Kona season.
We are in Kehi Lagoon. This is the sand spit in the middle of Kehi Lagoon, where the cruisers that congregate here during the Kona season, and you see flags on boats from all over the world, sometimes hold some powwows and barbecues. I manufactured a mooring with 2 anchors that were set with a 60-pounder toward the Kona side and the 45-pounders inland with a float bought from Kilgo's. That way the anchors were left there permanently buried whenever we went out to sail in front of Waikiki. One of the many rainbows that we saw after the many rains that we got during the Kona season. It was a rather wet winter.
And finally, Magali came to visit in Hawaii. Here we are in Kehi Lagoon, enjoying the company. But we don't spend just the time on board. We went out for visits. Waikiki, visited Pearl Harbor for the first time to Magali, since this was her first visit to the islands. And also a lot of sailing, going out for day sails, leaving our mooring, our homemade mooring in Kehi, and we were sailing out by ourselves with friends that we made in Hawaii. The sails around the south side of the island is in protected waters, and it's fun, and the weather is always good, and we had good winds to sail. And here we are in front of Waikiki Beach from the distance. Wonderful view. And this is Diamond Head, also from the distance. Of course, we had parties with all the friends that we made in Hawaii. We had a number of parties there. In other words, we enjoyed ourselves, and we kept in touch with family and friends at home through the ham radio that came so very handy. Oh, and I mentioned of the green machine. Well, we got another green machine here in Oahu, and this is it. Of course, since we used it for 6 months, it was more expensive, $400. But we got it all back when we sold it, so it worked all right too. Now we are back to Kehi Lagoon. Lots of rain, lots of rainbows, and lots of doing nothing and enjoying life.
This dinghy, we called it the Derelict. We purchased it in Hawaii just to be able to have it instead of inflatable, to bring it ashore and not have to worry about being damaged or stolen. And it was the only way of transportation that we had to go back and forth from the anchorage to land. Well, we had also a car that we purchased for the months that we spent in Oahu. With all the rain we had, it was a good time to stay on board and catch up with the reading. Kehi is located just next to the runway of the Honolulu International Airport, so we could see a heck of a lot of traffic every day. And here we have one of those cruisers' barbecues. Interesting people, and they come from all over the world, and they all came in by sail. Many of them cruising with their children. We try to see the green flash, which every sunset that we were out to see, and we concentrated and we watched. We never got to see the green flash, except that after we were back into the mainland, one day we saw it from the Venice Pier. We dove frequently different coves and on the rocks around the island of Oahu with other fellow cruisers. They told us that in this particular cove there was a mermaid. So I grabbed my spear and off we went looking for her. No sooner we got into the water, the mermaid appeared, we were told, since we never got to see her. We rushed out when they were yelling ashore that the mermaid was on the beach. Too late, she was already gone.